Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We miss a week here as there is no first week in May of 1985 in the World Class Series available on the network. So don't know if they didn't run a show or if it was just a highlight show or what they didn't do. Two matches only this week, and actually one of the matches even carries over into next week. And then a highlight package. So this will really should be a rather quick episode from Texas Stadium. This is a major event because it is the second annual David Von Erich Memorial in Texas Stadium here. This includes a two-ring process. It also includes the opening ceremonies, including all the Von Erich boys that are still living, and Doris Von Erich, the matriarch and wife of Fritz, making her way to ringside, receiving some roses and acknowledgement. Also, the woman who handles the syndication for the world-class television series, is acknowledged in the crowd as well. That is before we move into one of the big two matches here, and that is the one-man gang against Kerry Von Erich. They're given a little over 10 minutes, and this is the gang's first major challenge, one would think, here in World Class. It's certainly Gary Hart is happy that his man's getting his hands on Kerry Von Erich, but at the same time, maybe not so happy at the idea. Fritz Von Erich going to be there with him at ringside and to counteract Gary Hart. Keep him close. Keep an eye on him. But needless to say, that is not good for Gary Hart either. Obviously, their wars go back decades. Early attempts by the gang to get some power advantages over Kerry Von Erich. That doesn't happen. Kerry and the gang brawl around quite a bit. Everybody wants it looking like the Texas Stadium is full. I don't know the attendance figures, but one can use their senses and realize that Texas Stadium not completely full, but I'd say maybe 3/4 or so, something like that. Anyway, brawling by the gang early into a bear hug by the big man. Kerry tries to get the claw on, as one would expect, and does not get all he wants out of that. They are about to go to the outside of the ring when the gang's actually sitting on the middle rope. Kerry hops on his back with a sleeper hold that, this is one of those matches, big man, small man, but if the small man is Kerry Von Erich's size, he's not really that small, number one. Kerry's never been great at leading matches, number two. And the gang's not particularly good at leading matches either, if we're completely honest. So this is a slow, lumbering affair. Kerry does take more shots at the gang, trying to get things going his way and continuing things with the attempt at the claw again. That does not lead too terribly far for Kerry Von Erich. Attempted body slam successful from the gang, and gang tries for the splash off the ropes, but Fritz Von Erich has had enough, trips the man. Kerry does end up slamming the gang before this takes place, but Kerry Von Erich does pin the one-man gang, I believe, for the first time, at least first time on television that he's been pinned. Gary Hart and Fritz Von Erich do go at it as well. Then we move into a match that I'm going to highlight here very minimally, mainly because it's hard to follow. The 12-man, 3 out of 5 falls tag team match. So I don't know if it's teams of 4. I guess it would be teams of 4, the way they put it together. But they don't always kind of define that. There are people that try to subdue the gang post-match, by the way. That doesn't go very well. Enhancement Talent's trying to do that. Gang wears people out. Also, remember, as a stipulation of this, although it wasn't highly highlighted, maybe it was in the week that was missing, but Gary Hart gets his head shaved in the middle of the ring. Maybe that's why he grew his hair. All for the head shaving in the middle of the ring. Gary Hart bald again and in order for this to occur, the one-man gang had to be handcuffed to the corner so he could not save Hart. So that's kind of where it is. I don't know if shaving a man's head after he's been bald for years has a major effect. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't really know. But everybody seems excited by this. The Freebirds return. The all three Von Erich boys, Mike, Kevin, and Kerry, and Kamala um, is in this as well. Dr. Death Steve Williams in the 12 man. Not sure where he goes. Again, it's just chaos. I mean, all three Freebirds, Hayes, Gordy, Roberts in there, and really, the rules are kind of explained, but again, it's 3 out of 5 falls, action all over the place, brawling all over the place. Nothing really gets settled. They give the match. I mean, it actually extends into next week's program. Not a fan of this. It's hard to follow. One announcer Bill Mercer has a hard time calling all of it. Gang back out there. So I don't know if this was done earlier in the night and then they bring the Kerry versus gang out or what that's about. But, you know, Hayes and one of the Von Erichs tie up. The match is also clipped, so we do see Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams as part of this. But the match is clipped together in such a way where 12 men, 2 rings also. So it's almost kind of treated like a battle royal, but not quite. And, you know, we do have tag match rules, but it's kind of confusing there. The winner of the match does end up getting a sponsored car, Lincoln, from a local dealership in Denton, Texas. So that's there. The dynamic duo of Hernandez and Adams looks pretty strong throughout. You know, the Freebirds do take a fall. Everybody's brawling all the way around. Von Erichs and One Man Gang pair off. Keep in mind, they do mention that Ric Flair cannot wrestle. There is a super kick to the side of the face of one of the Von Erichs who has a roll up, and I think it's Kerry that gets kicked in the face there. The match continues. Eventually, in short, Kevin does take the final fall. We'll go through action, you know, even into the next episode, which is why I find it disjointed that the match does not finish on this episode. Dr. Death Steve Williams, I assume there is an over-the-top rope elimination that they acknowledge. But Dr. Death Steve Williams, I assume, is in for as a favor. I don't recall seeing him into the summer, although I've just started June, so maybe he is. But the Freebirds pair off and go pretty nuts. They do say that Ric Flair was supposed to be part of this, and then they don't bring him out, although he is on a later in the card aspect. So it's very disjointed the way this is booked. Rip Oliver is in there, Midnight Express in there, and obviously Jim Cornette worried about the Fantastics and his men going at it here in the same arena, well, the same stadium, on the same card. So he's going to worry about that. The match is not finished when we finish the program, so to be continued. But needless to say, that is this week's edition of the World Class Review Series. We'll be back with more right after this.